Hello, and welcome to Blue Diamond's Retrospective, Episode 3. This episode will be covering the year 2011, which was one of our busiest years we ever had with Blue Diamond filmmakers. We had launched 4 short films, as well as Season 1 of our web series, The Survivor. Plus, there were a few other project ideas we had that didn't quite go through until the next couple of years down the road, but the ideas were originally sprung in the year 2011. We also upgraded to new cameras, and new equipment was on the way, and we were figuring out more and more on the technology end of Blue Diamond. So enjoy this episode as I explain exactly what happened in the year 2011. Well, after the Price of Loyalty and the Shadow of Revenge, plus the cancellation of the contingency plan and a few other failed projects, at the very end of 2010, we were looking like Blue Diamond Productions was not getting back off the ground. We didn't even have a lot of the same people we had when we first started. We were down to a very small group of people that were even willing to be involved in any more film projects at that point. We had burned out a lot of people with the filming of The Shadow of Revenge. Nobody wanted to be involved in a project if it was going to take this much of their time, even though I wasn't looking at doing a project of that size again. So we've been trying to get ourselves, back off the ground where we had been just not producing any product, and a lot of people figured Blue Diamond Productions was pretty much done. But finally, in February of 2011, there was a big snowstorm, and it snowed like 11 inches or something. It was a lot. There was a lot of snow around that time. And so we got the idea, once the roads had been cleared and everything, it was going to take a while for that snow to melt, even though it was a little bit warmer, so we weren't going to be freezing out during filming, but we could also have snow. So we came up with this idea, what if we just make this like a scene from an 80s, B-grade action movie, it's like in Russia or something, and we could just have some fun with it, let's just have some fun. Make it as cheesy as possible. We won't even write a script. We'll just go out and film. I managed to get Sean was still on board with this, and Chris was still on board with this. We also gained a new person, a former coworker of mine, James Oxford, also wanted to join in with us. So we had that going. Sean had figured out a better way of doing the visual effects. He had figured out some new programs and stuff to work with to do the effects better. So we went out. We had, pretty much the same airsoft guns we had with the Price of Loyalty and Shadow of Revenge. This would also mark the last time we would actually just go ahead and have the orange tips on the guns, just trying to be... We decided after that we'd be a little more clandestine, a little more, go in places where we could actually still cover up the guns and not worry about it. At that point, we had been trying to play it safe, but once we were pretty comfortable in how we could shoot action scenes pretty well, we decided we knew we could go places. There were certain places we could go where we could actually cover up the tips, and plus we figured out techniques so we could do that without getting ourselves into trouble or making anyone get nervous. It's just a lot of technique on being able to do that. Mainly making it where it's not permanent. It's just electrical tape, so we can easily just remove it and just like everyone, look, it's fine. It's all fake. Just some markers and electrical tape. It works pretty well for that. But this would be the last film that would actually have the orange tips involved. We went out only 2 days of filming to actually get the whole movie filmed. So it really wasn't that difficult to film and put together. So we filmed it. Sean started working on the effects. It was also, we finally were using, Sean had gotten an HD camcorder. finally we were filming on different cameras. We did bring out the old cameras. It was the last filming, last shots I ever filmed on those cameras. On the little cameras I'd used from The Price of Loyalty all the way through that. The shots that were shot in that, right there, these are the last things I've actually filmed anything with those cameras. After that, I didn't film them. Yeah, I never pulled them out again. I actually put them in storage and put them away. Yeah, I never had those cameras again. Yeah, because we were able to use Sean's camera. Plus, then not too long thereafter, I think it was like April or something, I bought myself the same type of camera, so we'd have two of the same type of camera going. So now we were moving up in our video quality. Plus, I was given a little HD camcorder, which ended up becoming the basis for The Survivor, which will be covered in episode 4 of the Retrospective. So now here we are with a better camera. Audio wasn't too good with those cameras, but it was passable at the time. We were just happy to have now, like, this kind of camera. Just the quality was just boom. We were such better quality than we had. So we filmed it. He was working on the effects. I was editing it and putting together, you know, some good music from the 80s to kind of fit the tone of the film. And that in between the time that it was filmed and it was released, I actually worked on The Survivor. So that actually happened before The Lost Scene came out. At least the first episode, if not the first couple of episodes of The Survivor actually aired, which already showed the HD jump to HD quality. It actually happened with The Survivor first. People started taking notice when we started posting up pictures. That's also when I first got on Facebook and started using Facebook as a way of planning, filming. That's originally why I got on Facebook to begin with, was I could be able to share my videos with people a lot easier, get a hold of people, plan filming dates using Facebook rather than trying to like phone call everybody, which I had done with the previous films. It was much easier using Facebook. I also created the Blue Diamond page, you know, I was able to promote the films a little better. So here we were, now jumping into this. The Lost Scene came out in March, about March 2011. It's a big success, and relatively big success. It definitely got people like, okay, Blue Diamond's back, great effects, good looking cameras, you know, HD looks great, quality is great. You know, we were kind of back. We were getting back. We weren't fully back to 100% to where we were in the previous films. We still were short on actors and stuff. So that was going on. The Survivor series was continuing. And then in the spring, late spring, early summer, we decided to make The Lost Scene 2. We decided to just do it again because why not? It actually only took us a day of filming for that one. There's a couple of shots where we even tested out trying to film with a phone, just seeing how the quality would look filming on a phone. So we were able to do that. Plus now we have both cameras, since I also picked up one of the cameras. So we started working on The Lost Scene 2. At the same time, I also made, when I first got the camera, is actually when I made Calm Before the Storm. Calm Before the Storm was literally just a test. Just to test, see what I could do with the camera. It was filmed in very low light, so it ended up coming out very fuzzy and grainy. But it gave it kind of a weird look, which I didn't mind, which is why I didn't refilm it and just send it out as it was. It literally was just me reading Psalms 23 as the soldiers are preparing for war. And I know a lot of people are like, what does it say written by? The concept, the idea of a soldier preparing for... That's what was written by me. I noticed I put in parentheses, it says Psalm 23. I didn't write Psalm 23. It's not what I was saying. I was saying I wrote the story. the dialogue was taken from Psalm 23. But it was just a simple test. A simple film. Like, literally, like, I think it's like 2 minutes of... Like, 2 minutes of actual, like, footage. The rest it's all this music. It was just a test. It was just a test film. But some people saw it, you know, and liked it. It was just a simple test, so... Nothing much to say about it. It's literally, it's just a guy supposed to be getting ready. I just used my airsoft guns I had. I had him get all geared up. While citing Psalm 23 and marched out, and then here's the battle noises. Very simple. All filmed by myself, you know, edited by myself. Everything was just me. I just put it together. Then, of course, as I was saying, The Lost Scene 2 was being worked on, and we did it in one day. It was supposed to be like the darker 80s action movies, you know, something like Escape from New York, or something like that, you know, with a little bit of a darker tone to it. Still no real connection with the stories. I mean, the characters didn't even have names yet. It was just the hero, the villain, the doctor, the colonel. No one had names yet. So, it wouldn't be until The Lost Scene 3 that I would actually try to structure a story, a narrative that goes with these films. So, that was going. So we had Lost Scene 2, we had The Survivor had gotten to its first 5 episodes. We decided to hold off on the last 5 episodes so we could do some visual effects. Everything was going smoothly, going strong. Then it all fell apart. What I still refer to as the incident happened. I got depressed, I got mad at myself, mad at the world, mad at everything. And so I decided to create a fake account, and then I started bashing myself as long as with some others, you know, just to make it look real, just so I could just bash myself, so people would be like, oh, look at what, you know, Tom Smith's, you know, dealing with a lot of struggle stuff. I don't know why. I think it was just attention seeking. It was a really, really stupid thing to do, and I've always regretted that. I've regretted that incident. I still regret that incident. Still can't believe I did it. But that hurt Blue Diamond Productions big time. We lost a lot of fan base. A lot of things changed after that moment. The recently created League of Amateur Filmmakers, it went on shaky ground from that, which finally wouldn't recover for a long time before it would finally get a stable foundation again. Now that broke. That was the second time Blue Diamond Productions was on a teetering edge of just falling apart. Like, I went into like seclusion. No films were being made. The Survivor series was still set to just air, but I wasn't really doing much to promote it. Came back, apologized to people, and decided to try to move on. And that event caused the nucleus of me wanting to create the movie The Computer Network, which was started in the summer, which started in about August and which came out in December. Pretty much the same cast as we had in our previous films of 2011, except now we also had Robin Hash added to the roster. And we started putting this film together. I met up with some college organizations. This was a year out before I was actually start school, but I was hanging around the zoo quite a bit because, I mean, I was the right age already. I had spent a few years outside of high school building up money before going to college. So I was a year out from college, just trying to recover Blue Diamond Productions at this point. At this point, we were pulling salvage, just seeing if we could even get a fan base again. A lot of people did finally come back and forgive us for what we did because it was stupid and wrong on so many levels. It's not something I particularly like to talk about, but it is still an important event in Blue Diamond, so I'm not gonna like ignore it in this series. It happened. It hurt us. We moved on. We apologized. We moved on. We rebuilt. Computer Network, once again, similar things, technology. But this was also the movie where we figured out we have to fix the audio problem. Because we ended up having to dub half the movie, more than half the movie, like 90% of the movie is dubbed. And the dubbing is not that good. Because the camera audio was just getting to the point, it was just ridiculous. There was like a clicking sound that was just... it wasn't bad in the first few movies because they weren't dialogue heavy, but this is the first dialogue heavy movie we had with these cameras, and we were like, we can't use these camcorders for the audio. We need an external microphone, which would be our next big investment in 2012. So we have been progressing... throughout. And plus we were trying to figure out then the Survivor Season 2, we were trying to figure out, plus trying to figure out an audio recorder was our next steps for 2012. We also came up with the idea, actually I did near the end of that year, Reflection of the Soul, the first attempt at Reflection of the Soul actually came about. At that time is when I actually came up with the idea that we should maybe try a third Bond film with these cameras, because I was impressed with what we managed to do with the cameras and everything. I was like, you know what, a third Bond movie set to re-release in 2012. It got shelved pretty quickly. Near the end of 2011, I think I'd already shelved it. But it was an idea that, we can maybe do another Bond film. So the first attempt, there were some photos and some test shots and stuff filmed for it, but they didn't end up getting used. None of it really got used. Some ideas of locations, which later on some of them got used actually for the movie, but it just never went anywhere, so it got shelved. But I wasn't gonna just drop the film completely. I just wanted to shelve it for a little bit and figure out where we were going from there. And we obviously picked up the film at the end of 2012. We actually picked up the idea to do the Bond movie. We didn't really have too many other ideas. We thought about The Lost Scene 3, I think was already kind of a concept in 2011. But those were primarily what we had come up with. We wanted to do Lost Scene 3 and Lost Scene 4. We had figured out we wanted to do both of those in 2012 at the very end, in December. We figured out, and Survivor Season 2. Contingency plan was still in the back of my mind, but I wasn't sure how we were going to do it. But 2011, very successful year. I was very happy with the way it came out, and I think we all did a very good job on with the work we did on those films. It was one of my favorite years, with the exception of what happened in the middle there in July. With all that, that's the only big mark on that year. Other than that, the productions we did, loved them. Had so much fun. That was a fun time. We were having fun making these films. Like, they were easy, they weren't too difficult. And the Computer Network is... I don't think it's that great a film. A lot of people really actually like it because, it's got a good story. It's got a lot of... It was plagued with a few production problems I wish we could have, fixed, like the dubbing and stuff. But a lot of people really like the story. So, I'm like, okay, if you like the story, I can understand why this film has still been pretty popular. But 2011, yeah, big year, considering where we were at the beginning of the year. It turned out to be a pretty darn big year. I was very happy with it. Very happy with the way it came out. A lot of it. It was nice. It was our first chance to film on campus, which I would end up using way later in the future with class projects and all kinds of stuff. But this gave me some early tests of working on these. There was a few deleted shots that weren't ended up used or used only in the montage sequences. And I would end up going back and re-exploring the character of George when I was already in college, which I thought was really fun to do. But yeah, that was the year of 2011. So thank you for watching this episode. Episode 4 will cover The Survivor. The entire series, Season 1, Season 2, and War's End, and also discussing what the plan was for season 3 and what would have happened if the show had gone a little more successful. The possibility of a season 4 and season 5, which was the maximum. But so looking forward to that episode, and I will see you all in that episode. And thank you for watching this. This is Tom Smith signing off. Thank you for watching.